We continue with our class Halachos of Brochos. Today is class number 36. Okay, and we start with Sefer Shmiras Haloshon. And the topic is choosing your company. Scripture states, withhold yourself from the man whose life's breath is in his nostrils. Okay. For with what is he deemed worthy? Yeshayahu 2:22. Zohar comments on Parashat Tetzaveh, right? So, okay, who is this man and why should we distance ourselves from that person? Okay. With these words, the Holy One, blessed is he, commands and cautions a man to guard himself from those who have turned away from the path of good to that of evil. Okay. Who have contaminated their souls, and how is a man to whom this company, and how is a man to know whose company he should seek and whose he should avoid? Okay, by gauging individual's anger, one can determine what sort of person he is. If when anger comes upon a person, he guards his sanctity of his soul and does not allow it to be uprooted and replaced by that foreign God that is his anger, then he is a person whom it is fit to be near. However, if he does not guard his sanctity of his soul, allowing it to become uprooted so that the other side can dwell in its place, surely he is a person who rebels against his master, and it is forbidden to seek his company. He is a person who tears apart his soul in his anger. It says in Eov 18:4. He tears apart and uproots his soul because of his anger, and allows the foreign God to dwell within himself. So what were we talking about, right? So first we started whose company to avoid and who to stay close to, right? So Zohar explains, very interesting. So if just watch person how he behave when he's angry, right? So if he's like going crazy, guess what? He's serving, as we said last time and this time, foreign gods in his anger. Sitra achra. So stay away from such a person. Okay, so avoid his company. Regarding such a person, it is written, withdraw yourself from the man whose life breath is in his nostrils, meaning whose sacred soul is torn apart and contaminated by his anger. Okay, so stay away basically from angry people. Thus, it is an imperative that one rid his heart of anger, so that he will be saved from Gehinnom and will merit entry into the world to come. So why saved from Gehinnom? We discussed Gehinnom yesterday. Why? Because in his anger, he would do things that he should have, he's going to regret later on, if he's going to regret. Maybe not. Some people they're ashamed to admit that they did something wrong, and they never regret. Even they in deep inside they know that they did wrong, but they would never admit it. Okay, so we stop here. So next we got to the next topic, and it's not a chapter, but it's something that was, I guess, added later. So addendum 2, and the topic is bread and products of bread family. I think we covered it extensively with Mishnah Brura some time ago. I don't remember when, closer to the beginning of this class, but I just looked over. It's a small section. I think it would be beneficial to cover it again. So because it's very important topic, what is bread, what is not bread. So bread and products of bread family. In chapter 5, okay, we probably did it when we covered the chapter 5. We learned that the foods which are eaten as a dessert are often not covered by Bircas and require separate bracha. This applies to fruits, candy, ice cream, and the like. Okay. However, products. So I just want to mention something about ice cream. So according to most poskim, so when we eat ice cream, we like at the end of the meal as a dessert, we have to say the blessing. But according to other poskim, second, they consider the ice cream as a liquid, right? And since it is a liquid, so they say you don't need you don't need to say a blessing. Just 1 second. Let me check something. 1 second. Sorry. No, we're good. All right. But we followed the opinion that it's not a liquid, even it's a frozen liquid. So it's if it melts, it's a different story. But while it is in a solid form, we actually say separate blessing because it is a dessert. Okay. However, the products which are classed as a bread do not require separate bracha. Okay. So we're talking about bread meal. Okay. Mizonos products, which are indisputably classed as pas chabab b'kesnim, explained below in section B. Okay, in a bread family, but not bread, are dissimilar enough to bread and would, in certain cases, require separate bracha. An example of definite pas chabab b'kesnim is apple pie. Okay. So I mean, it's only introduction, I guess. So when we get to the real learning, so we're going to explain. This addendum deals with a definite and basic with defining the basic criteria used in determining whether a particular product is considered bread, pas chabab b'kesnim, or neither. Okay, so let's see commentary. The further application of this halacha discussed in this addendum is for many additional halachas relating to the classification of the baked goods, see Shulchan Aruch or Chaim 168. Okay, and that's what I think we actually covered. Okay. So our goal here, one more time, let's state the goal. To understand what is bread family, and what is neither. A, bread. There are 3 criteria which must be met in order to consider product as a bread. It must be made of wheat, barley, spelt, oats, rye, and rye flour. Okay, so first, it's only these 5 grains, not rice bread, not corn bread, not any other. Okay, only these 5. So one more time: wheat, barley, spelt, oats, oat, or rye flour. Number 2, people will commonly use such a product as a mainstay of their meal. There is a derech b'nei olam biko olav. So examples of this would be regular bread, right? I would say pita, lavash, other things like bread, right? So pita is 100% bread. And people would make a meal, right? And it would be like mainstay of the meal. What else? Dinner rolls, of course, rolls, 100% bread. Bagels, 100% bread, and others. Okay, so first we said that it's the product it is made from, right? Second is that commonly people use it as a mainstay of the meal. And number 3 it has Turisa denachama, bread-like properties in appearance. Okay. Turisa denachama is explained in Shulchan Orach Chaim 168. Generally, baked products made of flour have Turisa denachama. Flour-based product which are processed in a way other than being baked, such as noodles and the like, do not have Turisa denachama. So Turisa denachama, it's like so all of the things as we're going to learn that is baked. It could be baked in the oven or on the top on a stove, on a frying pan. Does not make any difference, right? So in comparison to noodles, so noodles they're not baked. They're cooked. Okay. So it was number 3. So number 1 is products it made from. Number 2, most people consider it's a mainstay of the meal. And number 2, some property, bread-like properties. Okay, and appearance. It looks like bread. Okay. Products which meet these criteria are classed as bread. The appropriate bracha for such products is hamotzi, regardless the amount consumed. Right. So what does it mean, regardless of the amount consumed? So if you want to eat few crumbs, right, of the bread, so leftover from previous meal, there is no problem. You can eat, but you have to wash your hands. Right, make hamotzi blessing and eat these few crumbs. Of course, you're not going to say the blessing afterwards, but it's 100% bread. So next section, pas haba bekisnin. Right, is so pas haba bekisnin. We said it's from bread family, so it's not bread, but close to bread. Okay, and we said baked goods which are not commonly used mainstay of one's meal, but do have bread-like properties and appearance. Turisa denachama, a generally classed category called pas haba bekisnin. So let's read again and understand. Baked goods, so all of them must be baked, which are not commonly used as a mainstay of the one's meal. So cakes, cookies, all of these pastries, right? All of these things, pies, but do have a bread-like properties. So what is a bread-like property? They never gave example. One example is a crust, right? So I mean, maybe it's not. In some products it's very thick, and in another way it's not so thick, but still it's crust. Okay, bread-like properties and appearance. So it looks like bread. Right, the sponge cake looks like bread. I mean, of course, it's sweet. Of course, we understand that, but it looks like bread. And nobody use it as a mainstay of the meal, but there are exceptions. Okay, so continue. There is a difference of opinions as to which specific type baked products is designated as pas haba bekisnin. Okay, so basically, as I remember from Shulchan Orach, there are 3 opinions. Okay, but I mean, even though there are 3 opinions, we follow all of them. It's very simple. So it says, some Rishonim define pas haba bekisnin as a dough filled with a fruit or other fillings, like, for example, fruit pies. Okay, so this first category, dough filled with something. It could be with meat or cheese. Doesn't make any difference. I mean, fish. And it's baked. Of course, it's baked. Okay, so it's a first opinion. Other Rishonim say that it refers to the dough made with lots of fruit juice, oil, honey, eggs, sugar, or spices. There is a sponge cake, chocolate cake, and most other cakes. So I think they use mostly eggs, right? I'm not sure about the fruit juice, but mostly eggs, and of course a lot of sugar and some other spices and cinnamon, all other spices, and honey. Okay, so that's the second opinion. than fruit juice, of course. Third opinion. Other Rishonim define is a baked product which have a dry, crumbly consistency. For example, pie crust, pretzels. So I'm not sure why I didn't mention what is it? Crackers, right? Crackers. So they're very dry. They crumbling, and so it's a third category. Okay. Note: although these products are not actually bad, if one Kzayis Yehuda makes a mainstay of the meal using Pascha Babekesnim, it is treated halachically as bread and required nitalas yadayim, Bircas hamotzi, and Bircas hamazon. A meal consisted of 8 Kzayisim of cake would be treated as a bread, the bread meal, according to many paskim. Thus, for example, one should not eat breakfast of 2 large danishes unless he is intended to wash and eat bread. Okay, so let's explain, because it's very critical piece, and then we see the commentary. So first we just mentioned 3 categories, right? So one is something like Shulchan Aruch calls it the first category like packets, that you put something inside. So it's dough, you put something inside. Okay. but I want to add, it's only when it was baked together. So if it was prepared separately, it's not in this category. For example, if you have pita and you cut it open and you put salad, you put all other things inside the pita, it's still bread. So because it was not baked like that, it was baked separate. Okay. Okay, so it's first one. Second one is the dough that is used was mixed with a lot of sugar, spices, oil, fruit juice, honey, right? And third one is very dry, like very dry, like like we said, what is it? Crackers. Okay. So, on all of these 3, we say Barem Minem Mizoynos. That's for sure, right? But if we make it mainstay of the meal, what does it mean? If we ate 8 ounces, so if we ate 8 ounces of this, so it means that it's real seal. It's a lot. I mean, maybe for a huge guy, 8 feet tall or 9 feet tall, maybe it's nothing. But for a normal person who is okay, for normal person, it's a lot. Plus, if he drinks something, also maybe eat some other things, so it's more than enough to be a meal. So that's 38. So in this case, if person that's all he has, for whatever reason, his refrigerator broke and all food spoiled, let's say, right? And everything he has is cake. And so this cake is going to be his dinner, right? So if it's going to be 8 ounces, at least minimum 8 ounces, it's not a lot, as you said. So it's going to be his mainstay of the meal, and the person has to go and wash his hands and say hamotzi, even though, right? And say nitalas yadayim, 100% blessing on the washing. Because he's going to eat a lot. A lot is more than 2 ounces, right? And he's going to say Birkas Hamazon at the end, for sure. So in this case, this Pascha Babekesnim, this thing from a bread family, actually becomes the real bread. Okay. So the authors say, so in this case, do not eat 2 large danishes. I think I said before that we used to buy these huge muffins, and this muffin it was almost 8 ounces, like very heavy. So of course, so on this you go and wash, or 1.5. I don't remember how it was, or 1.5 or 2 muffins. So I mean they're very tasty. So sometimes you can eat even 2. So if you plan to eat 2 of these muffins, or as I say, 2 large dashes, so muffin are very, very heavy. Because I think because of the sugar or some spices or whatever, or honey. I'm not sure what would they add to these muffins. Milk, right? All of them were dairy, that's for sure. So dairy, but does not make any difference. I mean, we cannot separate now, like just looking at the muffin or weighing the muffin. I cannot say how much is milk in there and how much is butter and how much is sugar, how much is everything, right? All of the other ingredients. In this case, we go by the final result. So the final result of this muffin, it's 8 ounces, let's say, right? Or 6, I don't remember the weight, but let's say it's 8. Let's, for argument's sake, we say 8. So you have to, you eat this muffin. Is of course it's your meal. So you have to go wash your hands. All right. So, or as they here say, 2 large dashes. D. In the Dembundum 1, we learned that Kzayis is equal to amount which will displace amount of 1 fluid ounce, about 1 fluid ounce. A good approximation of Kzayis is half of the center slice of the large rye bread. Thus, good approximation of the Kzayis of 8 Kzaysim is about 4 center slice of the large bread. So, as we understand, it's not a lot. Okay, so it's not a lot. So, but so in this book they go by more stricter opinion. So they say it's actually, or I guess it's more lenient opinion. They say 4 kibitz is 8 ounces, but in the Shulchan Aruch, I think it says even 6. Even for 6 ounces you have to wash. So we're trying to go by stricter opinion. If it's 6 ounces, so you have to wash your hands. So 6 ounces, it's 3. It's 3 egg. It's 3 eggs, egg-like, right? Egg-like weight. Okay. Kibetz. Okay, continue. If you have any questions, please ask. If not, we continue. Number 1, products which have 3 characteristics. Okay, that's the easy one. Products which have all 3 characteristics of Pascha, Babik, Esnin, indisputably not bread. For example, apple pie is Pascha, Babik, Esnin. According to all views, right? It has filling. It has filling. The dough is made with a lot of sugar, and it has dry consistency. That's a classic case, right? The bracha rishona is for this Pascha Babik Esnin, Barem name is Zoynes. So that's a classic case. Commentary. Except when one makes Pascha Babik Esnin mainstay of the meal, right? But okay, so I mean, according to all of the opinion, this apple pie or cherry pie, whatever you like, is going to be Pascha Babik Esnin, meaning the products of the bread family. On one hand, all agree, right? On another hand, they say if you're going to eat these 8 ounces or 6 ounces, as we said before. So in this case, but 6 ounces of the dough, not the whole pie, of course. Since the way I understand, I never weighted the apple pie crust, but I think it's very thin, right? Very thin. So, and people, I don't know how much they can eat. Maybe, I don't know, like 2 slices, 3 slices of this pie. Pieces. I'm not sure what is called, slices or pieces. So I'm not sure. I mean, how much of this, like top and bottom, you must eat in order to arrive to this even the 6 ounces, maybe even half of it. I don't know. It's a lot. It's for sure. It's not so easy to to calculate, but even if you calculate, it would be like almost, I guess, like half of the. I'm just speculating, like maybe half or even more of the pie, top and bottom of the regular pie. So usually this intricacies does not going to come up, but they say beware. Okay, continue. Products which have all 3 characteristics are eaten if eaten in dessert are indisputably not exempt by Bircas hamotzi on the bread and would require separate bracha. For example, if one ate apple pie as a dessert and not for satiation, the bracha would be required. Okay, so I mean, this author, I think he's genius. I mean, in a few sentences, he gave us a lot of halachas. So we're going back to this apple pie. So as we said, it has all 3 characteristics. For sure, it is mizonos, right? So if you eat as a dessert and the end of your meal, right? So you would need to say the blessing, but I mean mizonos because bread does not cover it. On one hand, on another hand, if you eat it for satiation, what does it mean? That you did not have enough meal, did not have enough food, other food, or you're still hungry for whatever reason, right? You did not eat the whole day. Now you ate your regular meal, but since you skipped your lunch and your breakfast, and now it's dinner, so you are a little more hungry than usual, right? So whatever you ate your usual portion, and guess what? You're still hungry, and you took and ate this piece of the apple pie. So this apple pie was not because you crave the sweet taste and cherries. No, it was for satiation because you're still hungry. So in this case, it would be covered by hamotzi. But usually, like under the normal circumstances, people do not eat it for satiation. They eat it because they want something sweet at the end of the meal. That's why you must say the hamotzi, mizonos blessing over the pie. Okay, continue. However, often people are partially hungry at the conclusion of their meal and eat the pie for additional satiation as well for the dessert quality. In such a case, it would not require a bracha, as explained in chapter 5. So this is, I guess, it's like purely subjective, right? So some people eat like sit around the table for a very long time, and at the end of the meal, so maybe they have this Friday night meal, let's say for 3 hours, 4 hours, okay, whatever they have. So after they finished their last course, let's say an hour ago, and now they brought pie. So some of the people, yeah, they're a little hungry. Let's say they underate, right? So if they underate and they're hungry, it's okay. So don't say the blessing. But otherwise, if you satiate it and it's purely for the taste, so you must say the blessing. Okay. Okay. So next section. So this section was products which had all 3 characteristics. It's straightforward. Now, like simple and straightforward. Now it's a more difficult case, right? So let's see. A product which have one of the 3 characteristics. Most type of cakes and crackers, right? So of course, crackers are not made with a lot of sugar and not with a lot of honey. Okay. So and they're not filled with anything, right? And same with cake. Usually, cake is not filled like a packet. Okay, so let's see. If product that has only one of the 3 characteristics of pas chava bekisni, it is questionable as to whether it belongs under the classification of bread or cake. So now we do not know if it's a bread or cake. Let's try to understand. Therefore, when determining if one must wash, make Bircas Hamotzi and Bentch for such a product, the uncertainty causes us to place them in the cake category. So in case of the doubt, we go in by more lenient opinion, right? So, and more lenient, meaning what? We compare what and what. So more stricter would be bread, and more lenient would be cake. Cake meaning mizonos. However, when judging if they require a bracha, when eating during the meal, the uncertainty again causes us to take a opposite position and regard them as a bread, which would not require a separate bracha. Since the bracha requirement is questionable, a separate bracha may not be made on a cake eaten during the meal. So let's see. Let's read this commentary, and we're going to explain. In chapter 16, we learn about the principle Sofek Bracha Lechokel. Under this principle, in most cases where the requirement of to make bracha is in doubt, the food may be eaten without new bracha. So, of course, as we learned in two classes ago, so in all of the cases of the doubt, how to fix the doubt, you have to eat something else that for sure requires bracha. Okay, but if, as we said last time, I think, so we discussed, if there's no solution, I don't have anything else. I'm at work, right? I'm in the office. That's all I have. So in this case, so they say, okay, you can continue without blessing. Okay, so let's read this piece, and we're going to explain. So basically, when it's only one characteristic, we do not know, right? Whether it's bread or whether it's cake. Okay. So one more time, this piece and explanation. However, when judging if they require bracha when eaten during the meal. So before that, it's let me just emphasize. So during the meal and as a dessert, two separate things. Like for somehow, right? A person wants to eat crackers, so he washed his hands on a real bread or pita or other things, right? And now he wants to eat crackers, and let's say put some spread on the crackers. Okay, there is no problem, right? So in this case, we don't know if it's bread or not bread. That certainly again causes us to make the opposite position, to take opposite position, and to regard them as a bread. So since it is I would say I would add the second reason, like from myself, the person eating this for satiation also, right? So it's in the middle of the meal. So at the end of the meal, when it's dessert, so a different story. But in the end, in the middle of the meal, so we consider it's bread, which means what? Which would not require separate blessing, right? So as we said, if you can eat different kinds of bread during your meal, so but they do not require a separate blessing. And one more time, why we said that? Because in case of the doubt, we go leniently, and we say that these crackers actually bread. Since and as I said before, so we can consider also second reason that it was actually not only it is bread, but it's always also eaten for satiation. Since the bracha requirement is questionable, a separate bracha may not be made on a cake eaten during the meal. So why? As we said before, it is for satiation, and it's doubtful. So let's see. They say see chapter 5, section E. Let me quickly go to chapter 5, section E. Chapter 5, section E. Okay, so it's a very short section. So let's read. Cake served during dual function. Like fruits and candies, cake are often eaten as a dessert or snack in order to satisfy one's desire for sweets. Exactly. Unlike fruits and candies, however, cakes are often eaten to satiate one's appetite. Accordingly, if cake is eaten as a dessert, technically a bracha should be required. Alternatively, when a cake is eaten for satiation, a bracha is not required. Okay, as we said before. So it's purely subjectively based on your personality, like if you satiate or not satiate. I guess it's my personal understanding. So if they do not eat the meal for 3 hours or 5 hours and 10 hours, if they eat a regular meal, and I don't know, like regular meal. I mean, we're not talking about Shabbos, regular meal, right? Let's say, I don't know how long it took, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then eat cake. So for sure, cake is eaten, and unless it was not enough food. But if it was enough food, so for sure, cake is not eaten for satiation. So if you sit around and talk and chit chat and sing songs, let's say on a Friday night. So in this case, yeah, if you sat idly for 1 hour, yeah, you might be hungry, but not in a regular meal. There is, however, another consideration which militates against making bracha on cakes eaten during the meal. So one more time, during the meal, not after the meal. This consideration is that if particular type of cake could be halachically classed as bread, it would not require separate bracha even when eaten as a dessert. So, okay. So if it's a bread, it's bread, and on bread we don't make a separate blessing because we already made initially. Okay. So that's what support to our crackers. In order to understand this halacha, it is necessary to understand what halachically considered bread. That explains addendum 2. That's what we're actually learning right now. Even if the product is definitely not classed as bread, if it is being eaten to satiate, bracha is not required. So as we said before, even you have, let's say you have a piece of bread. Let's say you have even 2 ounces of bread, right? And you wash your hands, and that's all you have. And you have strawberries, right? Or you have banana. So on these strawberries and banana, you're not going to make a blessing because you eat the strawberries and this banana for satiation, right? Okay, so continue. For example, apple pie is, according to all views, not classed as bread. However, often people are particularly hungry at the conclusion of their meals, so same wording, and eat the pie for additional satiation as well as for its dessert quality. In such a case, it would not require bracha. The poskim advise that since many cases making bracha for a cake eaten during the meal is questionable, one should have a specific intent when making hamotzi to exempt any cake he might subsequently eat during the meal. So that's I think the best, right? So when you eat, wash your hands. I guess if these crackers or other things were on a table in front of you, and they were like part of your regular meal, not the dessert that they're going to bring later, so they could be part of the meal. Okay. Okay. All right. So continue. So we just explain that. Okay, no problem. So we finish with that. So we finish with this bread thing. Okay, so we can start the next chapter. So it was like this piece was sticked in the middle between 2 chapters. So technically, it's just the most commonly asked question: what is a pizza? I mean, we discussed it before, but I know people continue asking. What is pizza? Is it bread or not bread? So all pizza is not bread. So we eat it as a meal. So for satiation. So for sure it's not bread. But even the pizza, if they say it's mizoines, and there is even stamp, right, from somebody. So it's also very questionable. So since it is bread, of course, why they would say it is mizoines? Because they added the apple juice. So the Mishnah Brura, when he said, I think it was Mishnah Brura. So he said, if it's a lot of apple juice, what is a lot? How much is water? How much is apple juice? Right? I don't know. So it was not exactly clear how much is a lot. So people may add, I don't know, 25% of juice. But we have to remember that the cheapest juice is actually from concentrate, right? How do they do the juice for concentrate? They dry up the juice, right? The water, right? They have this powder, and then they send you this powder. You put the powder in a container, add water, mix it, and you get yourself an apple juice. So of course, in this apple juice is 100% water, even though it tastes as apple juice, because it was mixed with water. It was not squeezed from apples. So some people say on 2 slices, but we wash for 1 slice, even for half a slice we wash, because it's for sure is bread. Okay, that's that. Chapter 17, the Torah obligation of benching. Okay, so now we got to Bircas Hamazon. Introduction. This chapter deals with a very important subject of Bircas Hamazon. Okay. For smoother reading, we use the common usage. We use the common usage in Yiddish, the term bench, in place of recite Bircas Hamazon. So in place of say recite Bircas Hamazon, we're going to say bench. That's what people say. Section A briefly reviews the prerequisites which must be met before starting to bench. For example, one may not bench in the presence of immodestly clad person. That's the big issue, of course, we're going to discuss. Section B discusses the halacha that the benching is required only if the set minimum amount of bread is eaten. For example, one washes for bread and sits down to eat a meal. Throughout the meal, he nibs a small amounts of bread, but did not eat full Kzayis within Kidei Achilas Praas. He may not bench. So we spoke about it, right? But here it's all in one place. Meaning, we said that he must eat not even Kzayis, but okay, let's say Kzayis. I don't want to overcomplicate. Let's say Kzayis in 2 to 3, but maximum there is opinion under 9 minutes. Okay, but we try to eat it in 2 to 3 minutes. So it's not a lot. Kzayis is a little piece. So it's 1 ounce or 28 grams. It's nothing. Continue. Section C, but you have to eat it in this even maybe not even in the beginning of the meal, but in some point of the meal you must eat this Kzayis, full Kzayis, in order that you will be able to say Bircas Hamazon. Section C deals with who is included and who is not included in the Torah obligation of benching. For example, right? So okay, for example, a person who ate meal and was not satiated is not included in Torah obligation. Does the Torah obligate to bench apply to women as well? That's the question. Are they obligated on Torah level or rabbinical level? So I mean the question here. So just to remind us, if person ate this Kzayis and wants satiate, which is impossible, but if he ate other food also, maybe it's possible. And not maybe, for sure it's possible if he Kzayis of bread and other foods. So in this case, he would be obligated to bench on Torah level. But if it was not satiated, so his obligation is rabbinical. So he's obligated either way. But in case of the doubt, that would play a big role. Section D discusses the rule Bircas Hamazon must be recited in a place that one ate. For example, it is permissible to start the meal at home with intention to Bentching at Sheva Brachas being held in a friend's house. Okay, that's what's your intention. So I'm going to start here. They, for example, Sheva Brachas. I would say like if it's Friday night, right? Friday night. So you did kiddush in your house for your family, and you ate and everything. But you did not bench. You did not say Bircas Hamazon. Why? Because your neighbor across the street has a Sheva Brachas, and you want to stop by. Of course, you want to eat there and stay there, and okay. So you can start eating here with intention to continue in another place. Otherwise, you have to bench in the same place where you ate. Section E is about what to do when one is uncertain as to whether or not he's obligated to bench. That's very interesting. So, for example, what should one do if he ate meal and cannot remember whether he benched or not? So that's, that's very, I don't know. One more second. That's very sad scenario when person does not remember whether he bench or not. That's he's or she's under a lot of stress. Okay. So let's start. We're not going to finish because I just checked. It's a lot, but at least we start. So it says section F gives suggestions for bypassing an uncertainty with regard to the benching. For example, if one is uncertain as to whether or not he is required to bench, he may ask someone else to be motzi him. Right? Motzi meaning to be included in his blessings. Can a wife motzi her husband? That's a good question. So we're going to discuss all of these things. Okay, we have time. So number one, or A, prerequisite for benching. There are a number of important prerequisites. Prerequisite is that which is required beforehand. Okay, that's the explanation. For making a bracha, which is discussed in detail in chapter 1. So we were discussing how people should dress, right? If a modestly clad woman in front of you, how you have to turn away with your back, preferably, or to the side, or like as much as possible, right? It is especially important to comply with these prerequisites for benching, since Bircas Hamazon is a Torah obligation, right? So that's very, very important. So, but I think a smart person would should calculate these things in advance, and like if you invite somebody and you know that somebody is not going to come dressed properly, so you have to talk to them in advance. So don't come to my house like this, right? So have respect to my house and to our family, and dress appropriate. A person would ask what is dress appropriate, so you describe what is appropriate. They don't want, let them stay home. Okay. For example, one may not bench in the presence of odor emanated from a bathroom, okay, or from diapers containing waste. Okay. Odor emanated from the bathroom. Commentary. The place where the bracha is being made must also be free of odor from the waste substance, rotten food and garbage, rotten food in a garbage cans. Right? That's a big one, especially in the summer. And some people, they buy it like these garbage cans, like such a huge, like, and they keep it in the house. I'm not sure they need the whole week to fill it up. So of course it's going to be rotten food and roaches and insects and other things, and they're going to smell for sure, right? So all of this we're not allowed to have when you bench. Not only bench, when we pray also, when we learn also. Okay. We said that we have to be careful with those all the things, because why? Because it is also a Torah obligation. Commentary: a person wishing to bench is not required to check the diapers of all of the children present. However, he has a reason to believe that the order is about to emerge. He is required to check the diapers before benching. I mean, of course, we let these little kids alone. I don't bother them. But if you know that you haven't changed the diaper for 2 hours by now, okay, guess what? Most likely there is something inside. Maybe you have to check and change it. Okay. So let's see. One second. No, it was D. Okay, continue. For example, one may not bench in the presence of odor emanated from bathroom, we explained, or from diapers containing body waste. Okay, continue. One may not bench if he has need to go to the bathroom. That's a different thing. So, because why? Because we said it is abomination. So same, we cannot pray Shmona Esrei, we cannot pray Shema if you want to go to the bathroom. And what is going to the bathroom, need to go to the bathroom mean? That the person would not be able to hold for 72 minutes, right? So if the urge is not that big and he or she can hold for 72 minutes, okay, no problem, hold it, right? But if cannot, so meaning the urge is more, so I must go to the bathroom. So properly to go to the bathroom always. Continue. One may not bench in the presence of a properly clad person. Okay, so my advice: don't go to these places, but or don't invite such a people, or tell them, like, people usually they want to accommodate, they don't want like go against you, right? When one finds himself in a situation when the improperly clad woman are seated at his table, and they may feel hurt, embarrassed, should he turn away from them in order to bench, he should inconspicuously look into the cedar and close his eyes while benching. So basically, we said, and Shulchan Aruch said, it's like the most leniency in order not to embarrass other people. So pretend that you read that you see this text first time in your life, and you don't know it by heart and stuff like that. So you bring the cedar close, like this, close yourself from this woman, right? Even though, like, we had this incidents, like people, I asked this guy, of course I don't know his wife, so I asked this guy to tell his wife to dress like this and like that. Of course she did not of course, but I don't know, maybe he told her, maybe not, but I asked him. I told him, and I asked before they come, like in the morning, we spoke. So they tell me, yeah, no problem, don't worry. Why are you so uptight? I hate it. Why are you so uptight? So of course we had this. My wife said scarves, the shawls, and we asked her to wear it because it was a little too much. But I mean, people who do not know, and they treat it like they treat you as a host with disrespect. So if I give you one example, if somebody Arab, right, or Muslim from their work would invite him and his wife would not go like that, for sure, right, for sure. And if they would Christian, they invite them to church, right, they would not go. The woman would not go to church without covering her. But to the fellow Jews, they can they think, no, they're a little strict, so we go in our best outfit. Okay, that's very sad situation, but we try to do our best. Basically, talk to them before. B, mitzvah to bench after eating bread, without scarenesses. Shall you eat therein bread? Okay, so meaning that you would have enough. And you shall eat, and you should be satiated, and you shall make the bracha for Hashem your God. It says Dvarim 8:10. So that's the source of our requirement to bless, and you should eat and be satiated, and you shall bless Hashem. Right? Okay. The Torah connects eating bread to making bracha, thereby giving us the positive commandment to bench after eating bread. So just to remind us, this eating bread part is actually the only biblical blessing requirement. All other blessings are rabbinically established. So it's one of the 7 laws that Rabbi said to make the blessing on the things that we actually enjoy and on before the mitzvahs. Okay. Okay, so let's see. There is so they say it's a positive commandment to bench. Commentary. According to some Rishonim, the commandment to make a bracha after eating refers not only to the bread but also to the making bracha achrana. Right. So achrana is we said it's after blessing on products of the 7 species, which are mentioned in the previous passage. Okay. This view is discussed in chapter 20, section 8. So some poskim say that so this blessing, blessing before eating bread or bread from bread family, let's say this mizonos, this case. So it's actually biblical, and plus saying the blessing after them is also biblical. Right, so based if just to remind us what we said in chapter 20 about this. So if he ate mizonos, he's required to go to the place where he ate and say the blessing after them. Okay, same as for bread, unless of course as we said for bread he had intention to continue eating in another place. That's an exception. Okay, so one more time the sentence, and there is more commentary. So it says the Torah connects eating bread to making a bracha, thereby giving it the positive commandment to bench after eating bread. Commentary: bread family products, cake, crackers, etc., are in certain cases also considered bread, in which case benching is required. See chapter 27. Right, but as we said, if a person ate enough for this 6 ounces or 8 ounces to make it a meal, yeah, we say we make a blessing. Okay, so let's do a little more. Kzayis of bread. Benching is required only if Kzayis or more of bread is eaten. So let's see Kzayis commentary. Kzayis, literally olive size, is equal to the volume of half an egg. Okay, a good approximation of Kzayis is amount equal to about half of the center slice of the rye bread. Okay, so we said that. So we say for our purposes 28 grams, 1 ounce. That's good approximation. Okay, so unless person eats this Kzayis, he does not or she does not say the blessing Bircas Amazon after eating. It's very important. So it must be this Kzayis, this 1 ounce in 2 to 3 minutes up to 9 minutes in this period. If we eat even more than 1 Kzayis, but it's more than the 9 minutes, so it does not count. Okay. Okay, continue. If one ate less than Kzayis of bread, he is not required, nor is permitted to bench. Right? So it's actually not only about bread, but about all of the other foods. So if we ate less than Kzayis, we do not bench. Commentary: if one is not sure whether the bracha is required and make bracha just to be sure, it may be bracha levatala, as we said in chapter 14. So so we don't say blessing just to make sure. Why? Because it could be blessing in vain. Next commentary regarding one who ate Kzayis of bread and regurgitated, so vomited basically, right? Or left his house before finishes one Kzayis. See Hebrew note 6. So I think it says there that if he ate and then partially half of Kzayis throw up and then ate another half, like in a period of, let's say, this 3 minutes up to 9 minutes, so he has to bench. Okay. Continue. Even if one ate other foods with bread and became fully satiated, nevertheless, since the less of Kzayis of bread was eaten, benching is not required. So here we're not talking about satiation, right? We're talking about Kzayis of bread. But if, for example, as we said, if he ate Kzayis of bread and other foods and got satiated, so in this case, this benching would be biblical. So satiation does not have to come purely from bread; could come from other foods as well. But he must eat this Kzayis anyway. So commentary: if less than Kzayis of bread is eaten, it is questionable if bracha on that small amount of bread covers other foods. If one insists on eating less than Kzayis of bread, it should be first make appropriate brachas on all other foods to be eaten during the meal. Then wash without saying the bracha, and then make hamotzi on bread. Okay, so if he is going to eat less than Kzayis, okay, that's the plan. The plan, like in the beginning. So we wash our hands without blessing, and this hamotzi, of course, hamotzi is always said, but this hamotzi is not going to cover the rest of the meal, right? So he eats vegetables, he has to make the blessing on vegetables. They say see chapter 5, section F1. So let's see what we said there. 5.1, chapter 6. Second chapter 5F. Second F. Chapter 5F1. I'm not sure what is it the right place. Chapter 1, section F1. Oh, it's C. I apologize. C. So 1 second. It's E. Okay. F1. Less than Kzayis of bread. If less than Kzayis of bread is eaten, it is questionable if bracha on a small amount of bread covers the other foods. The poskim explained that since amount of bread eaten is not chashuv, so not important, the other foods are perhaps not toffel to it, not subordinate. Since the bracha since the foods will not be exempt by Bircas hamotzi, but blessing on the bread. Each food is required its specific bracha. If one plans to eat a Kzayis or more of bread at the meal, it is preferable to do so and commence of the meal, right? Like from initially. If one insists on eating bread but does not want to eat Kzayis, he should first make the appropriate brachas. First, appropriate brachas on other foods to be eaten during the meal. Then wash al nitilas yadayim, very interesting, without saying the blessing. And then make a birchas hamotzi on bread. Very interesting solution. He will also not be required to say birchas hamotzi after the meal if he did not eat Kzayis of bread. He will, however, be required to make the appropriate bracha achrona for other foods. Okay, so very interesting. So here we say that what? So if person does not want to eat the whole Kzayis the full ounce for whatever reason, and he has all other foods as well. So they say, since it is all questionable, absolutely all questionable. I mean, I'm not sure why they could questionable. According to most authority, this piece of bread, less than Kzayis, even Kzayis does not cover other things. Does not cover other foods. So I think it's very interesting solution that this author offers. So he said, start eating other foods. Whatever you eat in soup, salad, whatever you eat, say appropriate blessing, and then go wash your hands while already everything is covered. Go wash your hands and eat the piece of bread that you wanted. That's it. So of course, we're not going to say the blessing. We're not going to bench, say Bircas Hamazon, like for this piece of bread, but it will be covered with after blessing for all other foods. Okay, so let me just finish 1 second. Okay, so let's a few more minutes. It was L. So one more time, the last sentence that we discussed. Even if one ate other foods with bread and became fully satiated, nevertheless, since the less than Kzayis of bread was eaten, benching is not required. Okay. So we said the appropriate bracha on other foods, however, are required. Okay. If one wishes to eat less than Kzayis of bread, he should wash and not recite Al Nitalas Yado, right? So if less than Kzayis, we don't say blessing Al Nitalas Yado. And make hamotzi after eating, he should not bench. Okay. But as we said, he say blessing or all other foods. Next one, two. Eating within Kidei Achilas Praas. So this, what we said, 2 to 3 minutes, up to 9. According to most Paskim, benching is required only if the Kzayis is eaten within Kidei Achilas Praas, a specified time span. Many Paskim rule that this time period is equal slightly more than 3 minutes. Okay, so we say 3 minutes. Okay, but up to 9. Therefore, lechatchila, initially, one should make sure to eat at least 1 Kzayis of bread within 3 minutes of time span. So when you eat, don't go to other foods. Start eating with the bread. Make sure that you add 8 this Kzayis, and that's it. B'diavad. So after the fact. If Kzayis was eaten in a time span exceeding Kidei Achilas Praas and he was not satiated, he should not bench. Commentary. If he is unsure as to the time span within which the Kzayis, within which he ate the Kzayis, he should preferably eat another Kzayis of bread. So not sure, eat another Kzayis right away in 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and that's it. You're golden. Within the time span of 3 minutes or less. Okay, as we said, usually they say 2 to 3 minutes. And bench. So after that, for sure, you ate such an amount. So even if you satiated, not satiated, you must bench anyway. If it is difficult for him to eat more bread, he should not bench. Period, because he's not sure. And he's not sure, and he's not satiated. So two conditions. Why? Because we said if he is satiated, it's Torah requirements. If it's not satiated, rabbinical requirements. In case of rabbinical doubt about rabbinical requirements, we go on leniently, meaning don't do. Unless you can fix the situation by eating more. Continue. If the Kzayis was eaten in a time span exceeding Kidei Achilas Praas, right, and he was satiated, he should preferably eat another Kzayis of bread. That's when he's trying to give us perfect solution. Within the time span of 3 minutes or less, If it is difficult to eat another Kzayis of bread, he should not bench. So as we said, there were two conditions. So let's read one more time, commentary, and we're going to explain. If a Kzayis was eaten in a time span exceeding the Kidei Achilas Praas, so let's say even the most lenient 9 minutes, so he was nibbling a little piece by piece, few crumbs at a time, right? And he was satiated. But satiation, I guess, did not come from the bread, from other foods. He should preferably eat another Kzayis of bread. Commentary. If he had terminated his meal, had Hesach Hadas, he must make another hamotzi. So if he said, he decided I'm not going to eat any longer, that's it. So, and now he wants to fix the situation, he must go and wash up his hand again, right, with a blessing, and eat another Kzayis. Okay, so one more time the whole sentence. If Kzayis was eaten in a time span exceeding Kidei Achilas Praas, more than 9 minutes, let's say, and he was satiated, okay, so he was satiated, he should preferably eat another Kzayis of bread within the time span of 3 minutes or less. Okay, so, and then he would be able to say Bircas Hamazon. If it is difficult to eat another Kzayis of bread, he should not bench, period, because of this reason that we discussed. Okay, conclusion. To illustrate, one prepared to eat meal consisting of 2 dinner rolls, fish, spaghetti, and vegetables. He washed the made hamotzi and ate only small piece of a roll. Throughout the meal, he nibbed small amounts of the roll, but did not eat the full Kzayis within Kidei Achilas Praas. Okay, Kidei Achilas Praas. So he ate Kzayis, but not in a time span. He should try to eat another Kzayis of bread within Kidei Achilas Praas, in this 2 to 3 up to 9 minutes. Right? If he cannot do this, he may not bench. So because he did not eat enough in the right period of time. However, he must instead make the ala michia on a spaghetti and barei nefashos on the fish and vegetables. Commentary. A bracha is not required for these foods. A bracha achrona is not required. Achrona, it's after the food, is not required for these foods. If he ate less, it's a typo. A bracha achrona is required. I'm not sure what he said. No, it is required for these foods if he ate less than Kzayis within the Kidei Achilas Praas, right? The halacha al michia, so I mean this for cookies, right, for spaghetti, and barei nefashos are discussed in greater length in chapter 20 and 21. We're going to get to it. Okay, so I guess we stop here. I mean, of course, we did not finish it. It's a very long chapter. Okay, any questions? Any topic? We stop.
One.
Okay, go ahead.
Is about bread. Has bread some kind of level of sanctity? And what about bread entirely made by a non-Jew where there is no other bread available?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so two things. If bread has any sanctity, no, bread does not have any sanctity. It's just very important product, right? So it's a mainstay of the meal. So especially in the olden days when people were poor, so they would eat bread, right? Because first of all, it does not need like any special storage, right, for the grains, and then you just grind it and you bake bread. It's the cheapest product, I guess. So most of the poor people were able to afford it. So it's not that it's sacred, but it is the most important food on the planet. I would say, right? And if non-Jew is going to bake, so we learned before that we said that all of these important foods that could be brought to the table of the king, and non-Jew cooked it, we're not allowed to eat it unless this food is also could be eaten. Unless this food also could be eaten in raw state. For example, if non-Jew cook the carrots, so we can eat carrots. If we say that it's all kosher in all kosher pots and pans and stuff like that, right? But with bread, so it's actually our sages gave us leniency because it's the most important food, and many people were poor. They did not have the oven, like to put it inside to bake it. They would have the stove to put it on top, but not the oven, and they did not know how. So it's basically there is a leniency, and that's what we learned actually in Shulchan Aruch, right? I think this Tuesday. So there is a leniency to eat the commercially produced bread, not from your neighbor, but commercially produced that in the store. Yeah, you can eat. So if you know the ingredients, for example, if you know there is no milk, so if there is milk in there, so there is a problem, right? But the cheapest bread, it comes the simplest, cheapest bread. It comes without milk. It comes only like flour and water and salt, and that's it basically. Understand? So if it's plain bread, you can eat if baked non-Jew from commercial bakeries. From neighbors, we cannot eat.
So finally, with this type of bread, so there is no issue to give it to the dogs?
To the dogs, there's no problem, no? No. I mean, if those, especially if those your dogs, okay, you're obligated to feed them. But the stray dogs, for example, on the street, you can give. One thing that we not allowed to do is to waste food. You understand? So if you have leftover and you're not going to finish, that's too much for you. You don't feel well, this and that. So of course you can give leftover to the animals, even wild animals. There is no problem. Just don't throw this piece of bread like in the places. As Shulchan Aruch said, don't put it in the places where people walk. Right? Because it would be big disrespect to the bread when somebody is going to step on it. But if you put someone on the side, there is no problem. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. All right. So thank you very much. So good Shabbos until next Monday. Beezrat Hashem.
Thank you. Good Shabbos.
Good night. Good Shabbos.